When I tell people that I don't celebrate holidays, especially Hallmark card holidays, the first question I get is, not even your birthday? And I go, nope, not even my birthday. And everybody goes, oh my goodness. What? And I think this confuses people a little bit because I do offer people wishes of peace, love, and happiness and light on their birthdays when I think to, but I have stopped celebrating Hallmark card holidays, really any human-based holidays altogether. And in honor of Valentine's Day, of which I'm not celebrating, I thought I would tell you why. First of all, hello everyone, and welcome back. I'm Ann Blackwood, your Silicon Valley stage sister, here to bring consciousness to the forefront of your daily life to make life a little kinder and simpler. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if it would be easier to start with the holidays I do celebrate or the ones I don't. But since we already, yeah, I guess we're just gonna get into it. Let's start with the ones I don't. So I don't celebrate any Hallmark card holidays. I don't celebrate any of your standard American Christian holidays. I don't celebrate any like witch holidays really either. None of that stuff. I don't celebrate Christmas. I don't celebrate Valentine's Day. I don't technically celebrate Halloween. I do carve some pumpkins and pass out some candy at the door, but we'll get into that when I get into what I do celebrate. Birthdays. People ask why I don't celebrate my birthday. And really what it came down to was that at a certain point, I decided that it was more important for the people that I love to know that I love them equally every day. And the more abundant I became, the more money I was making, along with that idea of my people knowing that I love them equally every day, felt like it was silly to use a particular day on the calendar as an excuse to wait to get somebody something they wanted. So I would just, whether it was myself or somebody else that I loved, I would just get them what they wanted when they wanted it. So Hallmark card holidays sort of became a moot point because we all know we love each other equally every day. We don't have to like show it on any given day because we've got days to make up for. And we have everything we want because when we want it, we get it. So, yeah, Hallmark card holidays became a moot point. Human-based holidays became a moot point. So, what I started doing was only celebrating the, how do I want to put this? The cyclical, natural based holidays. So for instance, Lunar New Year is my version of New Year. When we have the first new moon in February, that's the Lunar New Year. So I celebrate the Lunar New Year as my time to start excuse me, let me get some water. To, start doing things like New Year's resolutions, getting ready and prepared for the year. And this is based on like a seasonal appreciation for the rhythms of the earth. It being a time for plowing and clearing. So it's sort of the setting of the New Year's resolutions, not necessarily the enacting of the New Year's resolutions also. From there, I will celebrate the spring equinox, the summer solstice, what's next in line. We also have in the Caro tradition that I practice, we have what we call solar reunions. And those are also based on the rhythms of the earth, and depending on when we meet to have these solar reunions, like once, maybe twice a year, the ritual that we do, the particular karpai that we do, that's what the ritual is called, is determined based on a couple of things. So we will either be celebrating, the Apus, the mountains, or Aini, the sacred reciprocity that is required for the cycle of abundance. Let's see, I've got it here. I got some notes for this one, guys. Yeah, it looks like I kind of covered it. Nustas is another one, which they're divine beings. From there, we've got Halloween, but really I celebrate something closer to Dia de los Muertos. Carving pumpkins for me is about having the tradition of having these gourds carved with scary faces. All my pumpkins get kind of traditionally scary faces to ward off the evil spirits. And then I have basically like an ofrenda, like Dia de los Muertos, which I think is kind of silly. They even call it that because it's multiple days. So for November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, I celebrate my ancestors and the ancestors. So on October 31st, All Hallows Eve, I put out the pumpkins and then give kids candy, because why not? And then set up my ofrenda so that as of, midnight on November 1st, I have offerings for my ancestors out on the front porch. And so those pumpkins that I carved are a barrier to entry for the spirits. And really, it's also, I talked about this a little bit this year, this time of the year, Halloween, marks the time when the veil is not at its thinnest, but starting to thin. So it's sort of the marking of the beginning of a change. And then we get to the winter solstice, where that is when the veil between us and the spiritual world is at its thinnest. So that's the solar new year, and it's when the veil between the spiritual world and us is at its thinnest, the barrier. So Yule log, I have last year's solstice tree seasoned and ready to go, so it can be my Yule log that night, which is also burning the fire in the fireplace to keep any negative spirits that could be coming, or not negative, sorry, bad spirits. I'm trying to keep myself from doing that, but it's a hard habit to break. Saying negative when I mean bad. But any bad spirits, any unwanted spirits coming through the veil, that's what the Yule log is for, is protecting you from those. Honoring the seasons is pretty much what I do. Like I said, I don't celebrate any of those other witch holidays, like, I don't even know what names correspond to which anymore, but there are things like Walpurgisnacht, Beltane, Lunasa. I think those are some of the ones that don't correspond to solstices or equinoxes, but I could be totally wrong at this point. I haven't thought about any of that in a long time. Yeah. So really, anytime I celebrate a holiday at any given time of the year, like even every month with dōTERRA witches, we do the full and the new moon ritual gatherings. And again, those are about celebrating and honoring the cycles that sort of seasonally happen monthly in the flow of the universe. And then any other given day that I celebrate every year, it's celebrating the flow of the universe, celebrating the flow of Earth, and the planets around us that affect us every day. And, you know, if it's someone's birthday, for instance, I will maybe say happy birthday if I feel like it would mean something to them, if I remember. I actually have a rule for myself. If Facebook reminds me and I don't remember first, I won't do it. I won't do it. Although these days I'm not really on Facebook long enough for something like that to pop up. I kind of post and ghost, as I say. When it comes to Facebook, I'm really on Instagram every day, but not Facebook anymore. This year for the winter solstice, I got gifts for all of my fellow doTERRA witches, but we all got the same thing. And the reason why I got them for the other ladies is because I wanted one so badly that I got myself 4, and then got 4 more for the other ladies. And then honestly, I had a hard time giving those up because they were so cool. Actually, I'll show you what it was. Trader Joe's this year had these bowls, wooden bowls, that were cut from olive trees. So like, I keep them under my desk here in the office, and that's low to the ground because it's like a coffee table that I use as a desk because I like sitting on my meditation pillow to work. So they're sitting on the ground next to this big window. They get cold. They literally perspirate. They literally perspirate these beads of like basically olive oil or olive tree oil. It's really cool. But so anyway, I saw these bowls and I went, wow, I really like these. I gotta get me some. I've got to have one of these. And you know who would also like this? The other doTERRA witches. These are so witchy. It just happened to be the solstice, the winter solstice. So it wasn't about getting them a Christmas gift. It wasn't even about getting them a solstice gift. It just happened to be that time of year, because like had it been any other time of year, I would have just gotten them a hey, I love you gift. Because I just thought they were so cool, and I thought it would be cool for all of us to have one. But yeah, like that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. You know, it's made me feel better overall when I stopped celebrating arbitrary Hallmark card holidays based on a calendar made up by Julius Caesar and then corrected or changed by, what was it, Pope Gregory? Because it was the Julian calendar and then the Gregorian calendar. So was that Pope Gregory? I'm not sure. Correct me. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong about that. But I'm pretty sure it's called the Gregorian calendar because it was the Julian calendar was altered by Pope Gregory. The whatever something. But yeah, so, you know, like when I started really celebrating the rhythms of the universe and the earth and, you know, even with the ancestors, you know, I have an ancestor altar that I work with on a regular basis, keep clean on a daily basis. But, you know, having that 3 days out of the year when the veil is really thin to like really give gratitude to those who came before me and gift me with their wisdom every day. I feel better. I genuinely feel better doing it that way. And I noticed myself that with others, I've personally noticed that those around me who start to weed out Hallmark card holidays from their lives and start adopting sort of the same principles as like, make sure the people you love know they love you, know that you love them equally every day, sort of stuff. You know, don't wait to get yourself something if you want it. Like, just get it. We feel better. We genuinely feel better. It's not just me that I've noticed feels better. I've watched other people feel better when starting to do this. So, Yeah. Let's see, is there anything else? Is there anything I forgot? I got notes. I got notes today. Yeah, so this is how I want to end this. In unhonoring, no. In honor of the fact that it is Valentine's Day, I want to offer you this. Because this is something that anybody can do no matter what today. And that is a little moment of self-care. Forget the fact that anybody else exists. Today, just take a moment. It doesn't matter if it's like 5 minutes or the whole day if you can manage it. Take a moment to just remind yourself that you love you. You do. and you have reasons to. And so, you know, screw Valentine's Day, screw Hallmark card holidays. Let's have self-love day today. Let's be grateful for self today. And all that our bodies, our minds and our souls, spirits do for us on a daily basis. Give yourself some love today. You deserve it. You really do. And when we're willing to recognize that all the love that we could ever possibly need comes from inside ourselves, because people can only meet us as deeply as we meet ourselves, and we can only meet others as deeply as they meet themselves. Like, developing that self-love really does help when it comes to connecting with those outside of you as well. So if you want deep connections with people outside of you, you've got to start with that deep connection within, because they won't be able to meet you and you won't be able to meet them on any given level other than where you're at. So for their sake, as well as yours, but mostly for yours, take a moment today to remind yourself why you deserve love, because you do. There are amazing, great things about you that you don't always think about, but they're there. They're there. And you deserve love just for being you. So instead of a Hallmark card holiday today, throw that away. Have a little self-care holiday today. Even just for a moment. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me for another video. Don't forget to subscribe. Gosh, I'm getting tired. It's time to go to bed. Well, it's time to start getting ready for bed, that is. But yeah, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to check out the links in the description. Speaking of self-care, if you enjoy having clean, green, sustainable products in your life rather than synthetic chemical anyway, based products in your life, you should check out my dōTERRA link. And if you're spiritually inclined, no matter who you are, you should check out my dōTERRA Witches group. Speaking of, speak of the devil and they will appear. He will appear. She will appear. Especially if you're on Instagram. But I also have the Facebook group in there. Definitely, if you want to join us for our full and new moon gatherings, if you want to learn more about dōTERRA in general, join us over on dōTERRA Witches. Everybody's invited, as you are. And just because it says witches doesn't mean it's just for the women. Just for the women folk. Men are always welcome. And yeah, I got all sorts of other links going on in there. My Patreon, where if you're enjoying what you're seeing here, definitely check out my Patreon. It starts A membership starts as low as $11.11 a month. And if you just move up to that next tier to $23 a month, you get like pretty much everything my Patreon has to offer. I have the Sanctuary that's the next tier up, and that gets you everything that the Ascending tier has to offer, plus the Sanctuary content. If you're awake, not woke, red-pilled, you'll enjoy the Sanctuary. If you're woke and not red-pilled, then you want to stay away from the Sanctuary. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you want to grow and expand. Depends on how woke you are at the moment. Some people are just unhelpable at certain times. It's not their fault. And, you know, I've got journal exercises, guided meditations, you name it, mini courses, big courses, all sorts of fun stuff going on over there. And then my Enlightening tier is everything that the Ascending tier includes, and a once-a-month session with me. So lots of amazing things going on Patreon. I've got so many other things going on down in that description, link-wise. Go check them all out. And may the energy you serve you well. Let's keep making our way through, shall we? I am. I know you can too.